anything to do with Western big game.
Welcome to the Epic Outdoors Podcast, powered by Under Armour.
Hey everybody, Jason Carter, Adam Bronson, Josh Pollock, coming at you from southern Utah, snowy southern Utah. Freaking got water ripping down the streets, oozing out of the snow as it melts. Bronson, how exciting is that?
Just keeps getting better. I know that. We're excited about it.
Fired up about it. Although it's kind of bummed Josh out. Josh, they've implemented a shed season today.
I was just going to say, I thought in southern Utah we didn't have snow on deer winter range. But apparently we
Nowhere.
do. You haven't lived long enough. Josh, you are kind of young. How old are you?
I'll be 42 here in a couple.
Okay, well, we had snow prior to when you were born.
Okay.
That's the one thing we've been talking about is people, as we age and whatnot, you know, the older generation remembers what deer, elk, whatever populations were. Could be whatever, mostly deer. But as the new biologists come up and through the ranks, sometimes I wonder if they're not, they don't remember that we had deer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like real numbers of deer.
Yeah.
We've talked about that.
I mean, we've talked about it before, but I remember when I was a kid, it was like in the early 90s, and it was pretty bad, so I felt like it was pretty good a few years ago, and I thought you were doing something.
Yeah. And the old timers. I mean, they if you only knew. If you only knew.
Yeah.
Can't even get them excited about doing it right now. Even that we're excited. New Year brings excitement. But read a little bit about that for the people that maybe don't know what we're talking about, Carter.
Yeah, so let's see. Everybody's kind of talking about it, it seems like. Of course, it's all over social media. And if it's on social media, it's true, and it happened. So here it is. DWR implements emergency statewide restriction for shed antler hunting to help protect wintering game in Utah. It's happening right now. Utah Division of today. Utah Division of Wildlife Resources announced statewide emergency closure of shed hunting Tuesday. Today, in an effort to help wintering big game, particular deer populations. Antler gathering restrictions are effective February 7 through April 30th, 2023 across Utah, including both private and public. How about that?
It's a good thing
you picked one up.
A buck crossed the road in front of me this morning. It's a good thing you didn't drop one on the road. Or
what would you have done?
We would have had the La Migra here at the door knocking.
This morning you'd have been fine until you saw this. And then you would be driving home with it in your truck.
And there's probably something along the lines of intent. Did you intend to break the law?
Well, is there?
I don't know.
Did you intend to go 90 miles an hour, or did it just happen?
Sometimes it just happens.
Let's face it, nobody's going to.
Do you think they let you off because you said, I didn't mean to go that fast, officer?
I think they let me off because I have a concealed weapon permit, and I'm one of them.
Really?
I would protect them.
Oh, wow.
Dude, I don't know why. Hey, I've been let off a lot. Double in city limits at 2 a.m. with a trailer.
I was worried, so I just took your truck and the trailer. Got it cleaned up, and I took it up.
What are we doing? You're going to announce the fact that we got a ding or two?
No, I just borrowed your keys. Didn't tell you what it was for, but I decided to go spray the trailer off, and I actually thought of that. I was coming back, right there by the hospital. There's that little speed trap
to get
by that skate park or whatever, and I was kind of coming a little hot just because I was trying to get back here so we could do this.
The berm.
And then I was like, oh, geez, I got to slow down right here. And there was a cop on the other end.
Oh, yeah.
And
you saw my truck?
I was going like 35, but then I was thinking about it. I was like, I'm done.
You would not get pulled over.
And I was thinking, I'm going to run like a test right here.
You're either going to jail or you're not even getting pulled over.
I've got a get out of jail free card because I'm in this power wagon. I smiled and waved.
That's all I do.
Any exemptions to that, Jason?
No, it says they've been monitoring the condition of the deer as well as snow depths and winter temperatures across Utah since early December. These monitoring efforts include body condition health assessments conducted, and they find that deer are going to be amazingly big this year. Sorry, I added that.
Okay.
During the big game captures and take place each December, biologists measure and record overall deer condition, body fat levels, and fawn weights of the animals going into the winter. Biologists also place GPS collars on deer to monitor animal migrations and to find their sheds. Okay? I'm just teasing. I added that. Data from these monitoring efforts and GPS tracking show that extreme cold and increased snowpack across the state are starting to impact mule deer fawn survival rates and may negatively impact the ability of the adult deer to survive the winter. I don't know.
Well,
I think Northern Utah's got a problem, and we don't want all the shed hunters down here, so they just did it statewide. That's what I feel like.
So that's just it. I remember
they didn't say that, but that's
what I'm reading.
The interpretation.
I remember last time there was a shed closure, I may or may not have known the biologist that was covering the Paunsaugunt at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. And I
think I remember him too.
I remember driving down the road.
Last name Pollock.
And he met, and as a biologist working for the agency, I didn't even know it was going to happen. Like I saw it on social media, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" And I'm driving to Kanab at that time, and at that time,
you were going to harass some wildlife. You were headed down there to harass
I was going
wildlife.
to pick up a collar of a dead deer
on one of these dead winter-killed deer that we just read about.
Okay. And there was a lot of snow down there. There was easy a foot across the sands.
And you were telling yourself, "Man, we got to keep people off this." The sheds are about to start hitting the ground, and then you go home.
Yeah,
and you got to.
Well, that was back when you guys.
I found
that's
out
back
on the
when
way
you and your
down.
cronies would drive cross country.
Yeah. So I had it all to myself.
Anyway.
I went down there, and as I was going down there, I saw it was somebody called me an Instagram post similar to just how this was. I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" So I made a couple phone calls. I'm like, "We're gonna have everybody and their dog down here now."
Yeah.
And the deer aren't in that much. I mean, it's Kanab, it's warmer and that kind of thing, but there was a lot of snow, and so it's almost like you have to do a statewide.
So they made it statewide then.
Yes. So after that, it wasn't because of me by any means, but it was a collective decision. Just like it's everybody's going to go to the Paunsaugunt and the stuff like that, and just hammer everything.
Well, this is going to impact local economies. I mean, you're going to buy a lot less fuel.
Let's put it this way: May 1st,
Snickers, Kit Kats, Monsters.
May 1st is going to be like an Easter egg hunt on steroids.
Oh, I remember last time it was a nightmare.
And those that want to just go do it are going to be by themselves.
Can you imagine people that are out turkey hunting that day? I'm hunting turkeys.
I'm hunting turkeys.
You get
really down here in the sand. Yes, sir. I've seen a turkey here.
What's that in your backpack? A stick.
Rattling it in a big tom.
Yeah, I'm rattling in turkeys. Brought this from home.
There's going to be a lot of turkey hunters out there. They're spending a lot of extra time trying to pattern turkeys, find roosting.
For their friends. They won't even have a tag, but for their friends that might have a tag.
Yeah, a lot of help guiding turkey hunts and
whatever they can think of, it'll happen.
That's right.
In these type of conditions, it goes on. In these type of conditions, big game animals are weakened and highly vulnerable to repeated human-caused disturbances. You know what? Quite frankly, I used to not think that was a thing. But it's a thing, you know what I mean? I mean, guys just won't leave anything alone.
We just got done with the Western Hunting Conservation Expo this weekend. A lot of people in northern Utah and southern Wyoming talking about that. The people just won't leave them alone, whether they're just trying to get video, pictures, whatever. It's just relentless, and I don't know. It's probably needed. We've got to try to think about it from that standpoint, and not
that big buck in Wyoming, and just you got people out and about, even out of their vehicles, and
trying to get the perfect mug shot.
World class, all natural, whatever.
Sun in his eyes, wind in his face. Picture
on the skyline, running away from you,
looking away from you with his ears pinned back. So just
friends on both sides and in the front, everybody flanking him. I mean, geez, it's unbelievable what people go to.
So there it is. Be careful in Utah. Adhere or beware. How about that?
Temporary restrictions also apply to looking for horns and antlers still attached to the skull plate of deceased animal. I mean, they've got to spell it out because as a Utah guy, you're going to find every little nook and cranny and hole into this thing, right?
If you're out hunting turkeys, you better have a tag. It's going to kind of be like hunting bears in places that you can't even be there with a dog unless you have a kill permit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wonder what they'd do to somebody if they got caught. Wonder what they'd do.
Somebody else find.
Be nice. They take all. Oh, what are you looking for? Deer. You got a deer shed in your pack. Okay, your deer points go to 0.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good idea.
That'd be kind of cool, huh? Never know.
Hey, speaking of game and fish laws, we need to make a retraction.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't need to. We want to.
Okay.
Hey, we own this thing. We don't have to do any of that.
A week or two ago, I think we've jokingly talked about
you or me?
New Mexico. you said
it did. It came out loud and fast.
Said that New Mexico kind of one step above Old Mexico, and a lot of things go down there. And we joked and said that isn't always true because they took away scopes on muzzleloaders, and so it isn't always true.
And they
We've also talked about trail camera
We
laws.
talked about being one of the last great states, and there's not a lot of regulation.
Great.
And
Everything.
anyway, it's not true. So we said, yeah, you can run cameras, cellulars, whatever's legal, right? No. Nope, cellulars are not legal. So
Sounded
anyway,
like during the hunting
I was
season.
kind of shocked, but I'm grateful that I've never run a cellular camera down there. And again, maybe it goes back to the intent. I did not intend to break the law. But anyway, it says here, use of any cellular, Wi-Fi, or satellite camera for the purpose of hunting or scouting remotely for any big game animal is illegal. So,
Doesn't have a season either. It just
No,
says for the
really?
purpose.
purpose.
Oh.
Don't be running any cellulars unless you are a cattleman or something like that.
Okay, so
And,
we apologize to
running it
anybody
for
in New
your cows.
Mexico that we don't hunt there regularly. I've never run cameras there, so obviously we just assumed because it was one of the.
And
as
sometimes
Jason
we're
says,
just
one of the last
talking.
great
Sometimes
states.
we're just talking fast. I was shocked for one. I, for one, was shocked
Yeah.
that there's a law about that. I don't know why I didn't even know, other than we don't run cameras
Yeah.
really.
We don't.
I've run a few regular cameras down there, like in Unit 23
Years
for elk.
ago.
Or, yeah, years
10
and years ago.
ago,
That was probably before cellulars were
That was
even a thing.
Film cameras back then.
Well, yeah. Remember those 35 millimeters? Anyway.
36
Well,
exposure.
yeah, 36 exposure, 1 hour
Blowing
Walmart,
grass.
and then you could go to Walmart and say, I don't think they turned out like I like it, and they don't make you pay for them. I mean, it was so dumb.
Grass
Jeez.
blowing for 36
Yeah.
exposures.
Yeah, I don't see an
Tweety
elk, do
bird.
you? Nope, these didn't work out right.
Yeah, so your development lab's something wrong with it.
Well, anyway,
Maybe.
I'm just saying, back in the day, whatever. Glad technology came a little ways, but we have never really run a retraction before, Bronson. But
other
we
one-
also want to say out loud, we are not the rules and regulations. Be sure you know the rules before you go.
If you read our magazine, we say that very clearly on the bottom of the start of every state.
Disclaimer.
Do not use.
We are not
Our-
responsible for when you were in jail, right?
This represents the opinions of Epic Outdoors. It should not be used, construed to replacement of the regulations or
hey, geez,
anything like that.
Who needs legalese when we got Bronson to spell it out for
One
us?
more thing that we need to make a retraction for.
I mean, come on, that's
Carter,
true. What?
You had a doctor call you out on the Z-Pack and
Oh,
that being an
yeah,
antibiotic.
I forgot about that. Well, what? I mean, okay, so I thought Z-Packs were just glorified vitamins. Supposedly, I guess it's really an antibiotic. Having said that, they make you feel good and they pump you up, so whatever.
So you were corrected that
It was funny. He just started laughing, and he's like, I'm just, I'm a doctor.
they're not vitamins.
And I heard you talk about Z-Packs, and quite frankly, that's an antibiotic, so you need to,
You need a prescription and get the, don't
stick.
just.
He's just told me to stay in my lane.
That's right.
He's a good guy. I was appreciative. It made me laugh for a little while. So
So you threw away your prescription pad. is what you're saying.
well, I've kind of everybody's got a doctor on speed dial. So anyway, interesting, good stuff.
Been an exciting couple of weeks. I don't know when we were on here last, but
It
before the
has
expo, it's a great show.
The
Saw
expo was
a lot of people. It was amazing. It gets getting bigger and bigger.
What I can't believe is how many people I saw that you didn't, you saw that I didn't, and Wyatt saw that neither of us saw.
I don't know where they go.
And Josh.
It's just people. Yeah.
It was
Shows that
crazy.
when we're locked in and talking to somebody, there's a lot of else going on, and it's a lot of people, a lot of money raised for wildlife, and here in a day or two, going to be 200 happy people.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. The draw results
Yeah, we'll see.
for the
Logan?
200 tags.
Did you get
I
your
think
name-
the
did you
odds
get
are
your-
actually pretty good. What do
Did
you
you
think?
get your name in for a few of those, Logan, too?
I got a name in a few of them.
Good.
Yeah, for sure.
Turkey.
Antelope.
Hey,
I love it.
hey, turkey conservation
Those-
permits this year in Utah are probably going to be off the
Those
charts because
might
it gives you a
be
legal
the
reason to
$5
be
tag
out there in
to have.
April
Yeah.
in the field.
Come on, Bronson. Why are you giving people
I'm not buying one. I'm just saying.
no a legal reason, but the intent is to shed hunt? They are in the wrong if they do that.
You're right, but you're packing a gun. You have a right to be in the field. And
I think they made a law in one of these states. I don't dare to say which one, 'cause I have to do another retraction. But something about you
Rhode
can't
Island.
shoot them out of the roost.
oh, well, that's
That's kind of a
generally a
given.
law everywhere,
No, I
but somebody had to do that.
Well, I think a
recently.
lot of it is their shooting hours, and then you've got.
If
But
they roost and you can,
it's just unethical
Yeah.
to shoot one and
where
let
they
it.
want to sleep
I mean,
for the night.
and it does like the old the 20-yard fall. and bounces off the ground. I mean,
There's like
come on.
30 of them.
Doesn't it feel weird?
There's 30 sometimes.
But I guess they had to make a law. I actually should Google that because it was actually.
You've teed this next one up perfectly for me, Carter. This is occasionally I write something down. It's one of the funniest things I heard all week, and this is one of those things. Speaking of turkeys, Carter, this week I wrote it down. I don't remember. It was 5-6 days ago.
I'm going to start writing stuff down.
Well, all right. He says it was right up against the beloved elk deadline in Wyoming that we're grateful is over with, by the way. But I think wasn't the turkey deadline the same day?
Turkey deadline for Wyoming.
For Wyoming was the same time. And Carter's quote was, "I'm half thinking we should do it."
No.
You said I wrote it down verbatim.
I did because I had to apply a guy.
Okay.
He's like, "Hey, I want to do turkeys." I'm like, "Really? We don't
Black
do
Hills or something like that.
They're
somewhere.
not big game in my
So it was
mind.
the Black Hills, and Jason said, leans over, "I'm half thinking we should do it." And I did a quick search for the Black Hills. It was 830 miles from Cedar City.
You did that search.
Yeah, 830. I wrote it down. And so
Well,
that's
anyway,
how
Unit
worked out
1,
Carter
there's Unit
can
1,
get.
there's General. I mean, there was a number of options there. Unit 2, Type 3.
You didn't need an oil change before you came home. Drive
Anyway,
home.
I hadn't even looked up turkey in Wyoming. Like, who would do it? Who would do it? Okay. Had a guy say, and they're good clients, so you're like, okay. And he's like, Jason, you can take care of turkey in Wyoming.
Well,
I'll do all my other turkeys.
He wasn't
like,
this guy
deal.
wanting a turkey from every state?
Yeah. And he's down to like
5.
Yeah, down to 5 left of 48. I guess there's a couple states that don't have them. I don't know. what those
Alaska,
would
probably. How could one live
Maybe.
up there?
I don't know.
I don't know. Hawaii? I don't know.
mean, yeah, Alaska.
There probably
maybe.
is with a bunch of hybridization in
No,
Hawaii.
Hawaii's got chickens frolicking everywhere.
roosters
Guaranteed
everywhere.
there's turkeys
There's
there.
poultry of all shapes and sizes.
Do you got Safari on that phone?
I do have Safari on
Okay,
my
why
phone.
don't you just Google that? Figure out where the turkeys aren't in the continental United
Alaska's
States.
got to be one of them.
It's got to be, I would think. And where else would
else?
not have a turkey? Just real quick off the top of my
I
head.
don't If you say one, you're going to have to make a retraction.
No,
you're wrong.
exactly. What,
Okay, boss, here you go.
where Washington,
What is
right,
it?
all around.
Got you a population map.
Maine?
They
Top
do
10
do-
turkey hunting
they-
states: Washington, Texas, Kansas, maybe South Dakota. I don't know.
It
You got
says
to really know your states here because they're not labeled.
2 states
What?
don't have naturally occurring populations of turkey:
Who?
Alaska and Hawaii.
Really?
No kidding. Okay.
Hawaii
you
put
have
them
to-
there,
Hawaii,
but
you have
they,
to shoot a
they
hybrid.
crossbred with a bunch of other fowls of the area.
Chickens.
Because there's stuff everywhere over there. Running everywhere. Roosters.
So there you go, right there. So yeah, he was after the 48, and I think he's gotten through 43 or something like that. So anyway, I applied him. Hey,
North
you know,
American
I'm
48. right
I'm an
there.
expert. And
Anyway.
yeah, and then- but
that was a funny
part of
thing.
that, part of
Half
that,
thinking you should do it.
part of that is just because we're in the mode of
Apply it, apply it, and
yeah, apply, getting a kill. You know, the excitement of hunting is just getting tags.
830 miles
Hey.
one way. You need an oil change before you can
There's
drive
probably
home.
an artist listening to this, but I mean, could you just paint up a picture of Adam and I with just tags falling out of our front pockets? Hey, that's part of the
don't
excitement,
tell somebody
Bronson.
like Chris Lacey
I'm
that.
gonna-
He'll do it.
Dude, okay, so
He could
why
do it.
I can't believe you just brought him up. He's traveling home. Chris, this is for you, boss. He's such a good guy and been a friend of Epic for a long time. He's traveling home from the expo. And what do you think he sees?
A moose?
90 yards off the highway. Well,
Moose.
what do you think he sees? No.
Wolf.
Nope, they had to do with coyotes.
Huh?
Coyotes. And what
Off
season?
Of I-80?
What season is it for coyotes? What season is it? Breeding season. He has 2 dogs freaking stuck to each other
Off the free.
off the free
Did he get
doing 90, and so he drew a picture of it. He drew a picture.
took a mental note?
No, he's such a good artist, and he's a wildlife artist.
Come
And so he's
on.
like, hey, it's a long trip home, and he's like,
Is he driving it?
such a good guy. Hey, everybody out there. Logan, is that showing up somewhere?
I'll put it on.
Hey, he's good at it. But anyway, what do you
Song
say?
dogs. Doing their
I
thing.
said, geez, that's a rare sighting. You should have smoked them both. He goes, yeah, they surely shouldn't have run away. Anyway, it was kind of interesting. How did you bring him up? He's a good guy, great artist. Does custom trophy rooms. Little shout out.
Painting on big walls in trophy rooms that are absolutely amazing.
They're amazing. If anybody listening to this podcast wants a custom painting in their trophy room house or whatever,
Remember that one time he did a
hit up Chris Lacey.
freebie for us when we had John Alderson on podcast.
Oh,
We had
yeah.
his Grizzly charging, and he did a pencil thing
He's
in the magazine.
He's
for it.
unbelievable.
Remember that?
Oh yeah, totally remember that.
Impromptu.
But he spent a
Weeks
lot of
and
time
weeks,
in
and
Texas in their trophy rooms, and
weeks painting him.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And if you wanted something quick and fast, he'd do it like anything. He's unbelievable. So there you have it, right there. I mean, he's like, dude, check this out. And I'm like, wow. Okay. Anyway, he's awesome and good at it. But there you go. I've never seen coyotes breeding in the wild, and he did off the freeway. Okay, where else are we at? What does that bring us to? Let's. You know what? We've
Speaking
had
of
up
Big Daddy.
Bronson, Josh. We've had a lot of guys tell us what their favorite parts of the podcast are. Generally has to do with hunting stories, right? Can't get enough hunting stories. Me neither. I freaking love it. It's unbelievable. Stories are incredible. So anyway, we do want to give a call out to our cover shot. Let's tee that up for us, Bronson, while I dial him up. It's our cover buck. It's by Tyler Gilson. Killed a 230 some odd inch. I want to say 9.
Giant, 7,
Giant.
whatever.
Monster mule deer with a bow over here in southeast Utah in 2022 season. So pretty incredible, awesome feat, giant deer. It's one a few people knew about, but he actually kind of had him to himself there right off the bat that opening weekend and made it happen. So anyway, we're so impressive. Of course, deer impressive in general, but then to kill a deer of this magnitude with a bow on a draw tag, 14 layers of awesomeness because, it's all, self-guided and local, and it's his home
little
unit.
bit of a
pretty awesome.
off year for some of the extreme southern Utah units, too. Bonsigant,
Yeah.
San Juan, Henry's, they weren't incredible.
Yeah.
So kill it in a off year, not a off-the-charts year, just kind of a little bit of an off year antler growth-wise.
Pretty awesome. Well, let's give him a holler. Let's just maybe he's got a little bit of time. He can just tell us the quick story about it, and maybe we'll learn something from this. You learn something from everybody, that kills deer, especially. How about that? No, you learn something from everybody. But let's just see what he has to say about it.
This is Tyler.
Tyler, it's Jason Carter, Adam Bronson, Josh here. How are you?
I am good. How are you, gentlemen?
We're great.
Oh, good.
We're doing good. We just wanted to kind of get with you a quick second, if you got a moment.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
Sounds like you got a lion chase going on.
You're not chasing a lion right now, are you?
I'm not. Nope, I'm not. Just kids.
That's
kids.
yeah, that's awesome. Hey, so you were, just had the good fortune of killing a monster buck there in southern Utah, and we just wanted to kind of hear the story on it.
Awesome. Yeah. Where do you want me to start?
Well, wherever. I mean, you drew the tag. It was a draw tag, Southeast Utah archery only, and I don't know, maybe just a little bit about the scouting, when you turn the buck up. We've read your story, obviously, but there's maybe
Right.
others that haven't got the magazine yet. And, maybe just tell us how you found him and then how it came together.
Cool. All right. So, obviously, Utah's system, most of us you guys are all aware of how that works. I did not have max points.
Just a
didn't
lucky
have
random
Yeah.
draw.
I think this last year, 100% was 19 points, and I had 16. So, getting close, but man, it seemed like it was just kept creeping out of my reach every year. But a few things happened this last year that I probably wouldn't even applied, probably just bought points. My wife and I were looking at a business. Last minute, it kind of fell through, and we backed out and went back to my old job. And I kind of just went all in last year with applying everywhere because I knew I had a lot more time. So got the tag, put in, decided, archery was the one I wanted. Man, I was pretty shocked when I drew out, but nonetheless, man, I'm going hunting. So this spring, pretty minimal moisture. We did have a pretty good storm that hit the unit right around the time that applications were due. It was pretty positive, but still, like, after finding out I had the tag, it's like, all right, well, is it going to be a dry year? You can't turn it back. You got lucky. So
you got randomly lucky.
Man, you go hunting. And so I've watched some people turn their tags back, and then turns out it got harder to draw every year after that. So
never catch it.
They're still waiting. So that was a few years back. So I put the work in. You guys probably know Adam Black.
Yeah.
He was super helpful. I know he used to make a living out there running that unit, and he was super helpful. Threw my back out in the middle of the summer, and so I was visiting him at least once or twice a week to get adjusted, and he helped me out big time, give me a few spots, and I hung cameras up and beat those dusty roads to death.
That's the most amazing mountain in the world, though. It's one of our favorite places. It's endless. It's huge, and it's just beautiful. There's just deer everywhere and elk everywhere. It's just bears everywhere. Saw 6 in one day. I'm sure you did the same at times. Just crazy.
Yeah, years prior out there, I'd see more bears. This year, I really didn't see a lot of bears, at least glassing. Saw them on trail cam, just some, not much for size, a lot of little kind of ugly bears. But, man, it is amazing country. Those roads were beat to death, and there was almost no moisture. We had a couple storms here and there, if I remember, on a couple cameras that hit, and kind of the deer were showing up during those periods. And so they were pretty focused on the water almost all summer long. And about the time our monsoons hit, they just disappeared. And so you couldn't, I wasn't tracking them on camera anymore. It was just, drive around, look, the few spotting places you can actually see much of the country, hitting that, but really hitting those early mornings, evening times, and even middle of the day. You guys know those deer will get up and move, and you just catch them middle of the day. So I kind of had a list of bucks that I'd come up with over the summer just from scouting. Really hadn't looked at my cameras yet. I kind of just let them soak, several of them. A few of them I'd check, but most of them I kind of let them soak until I ended up pulling them that last weekend in July, maybe a day before they had to be pulled. But found a few really good bucks, a couple of which got killed this last year. And I'll be really honest, I underestimated those guys.
Yeah. Meaning size-wise, you just think,
yes.
You looked at them and you didn't give them the respect they deserved. I mean, what an absolute
they deserve
monster.
a lot. They deserve a ton of respect.
Yeah.
At this point, I hadn't seen the buck I killed, and I know there were some good ones, and I know everybody. Well, at least from what I heard, there were a lot of people lined up to chase those bucks. One of which had been chased the year prior, and then 2 others that just, man, they must have packed it on at the end, because I seen them late summer, but kind of after I found my other buck, I stopped looking at them and stopped chasing them. I remember listening to your guys' podcast talking about antler growth and the timing of it all, because I was kind of worried with the amount of moisture that we had. It was just beat to death. Nothing at this point. I didn't feel like any moisture in the middle of the summer was really going to make that much of a difference by the time mid-August rolled around to hunt.
I don't know what we said on the podcast, but at times we're not right. There are some times we are not right. We've been making retractions.
Before we got on with you today, we did have a list of retractions in other states.
I guess I just have some blind faith then. Anyways.
We may have indicated it'd be an okay year. That's
Well, no, and it had nothing to do with that. It was about timing, kind of
Yeah.
when those
Yeah.
bucks finish.
Yeah.
And there were some bucks that were like, the early growers, and I'm judging the rest of the deer off of those. And what I figured out is, and what I learned is, the rest of the deer don't follow the same
Right.
time frame.
Right.
And so there were a couple that I was like, oh well, these deer over here aren't
Grown out as much.
near what. Yeah, this one's like got front forks and back forks, and these ones are just getting to their forks.
Yeah.
Have great mass. They got eye guards. Look like they could be something, but are they behind? And I listened to your guys' podcast, and you were talking about a deer you were watching that just at the end it just blew up.
Right. I remember the deer. I remember the comment, and it did happen. It was August 1st. He wasn't even on the hit list.
Oh, wow.
You remember that? August 1st, he basically wasn't on the hit list. And this was back when you could run cameras after August in Nevada.
Right.
And then August 10th is opening day of the archery. And we got a picture of him, and it's like he put on, how do you know what he put on? But it felt like it was 40 inches in 10 days. And he went from not on the hit list to number 1 on the hit list. And it was just crazy. And then we also killed a deer here in Utah General over here on the other side of the state. And we killed him in like August 24th-ish, mid 20s, right in there, August 24th, 25th, something like that. And he was still really soft on the end, still growing. And so, deer are different. You know what I mean? Some finish early, some finish late. And that's, I think, what you're getting at.
That is what I'm getting at. And I really didn't know that. But I gained a little bit of knowledge from your podcast.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch this deer grow up all summer long. And I don't know if anybody did.
Yeah.
I don't, there was rumor, that people had seen him. Someone had a picture of him. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
It almost feels like the rumor, though, is he moved. Like they were thinking he summered in a little bit different place, right?
Right.
And then he moved.
But not far from where I killed him.
Right. But moved a little bit, and then you ended up having him to yourself kind of thing.
Yeah. But the rumored individual or outfit that I heard that saw him, they killed a different buck on the unit.
Right.
And so
they would have been all after him if they knew where he was at, for sure.
That's kind of how I feel. But anyways,
who knows?
So I have this list of bucks. I pull all my cameras. I'm digging through. I'm like, all right, I'm going to be down with the masses chasing these few bucks because all of them are
visible
fairly,
off the roads and all that.
Oh yeah. All of them are, and they're not far from each other.
No, 2 of them are in the same running together at
right.
times.
Right.
Yeah.
So here we go. I'm running through pictures. I'm looking at some bucks, and then Adam sent me a couple pictures of these same bucks on camera, and I'm like, man, your picture of him looks a lot better than my trail cam pics of him. He looks like a great buck, but I don't know if he's going to push over that 200-inch mark, and that's kind of what I was shooting for. But I'll be honest, I'd have been happy with a great 190-inch deer. Never killed one before. I can't say I haven't even killed a 180-inch deer.
Yeah.
And so 200 was like, yeah, let's go for it. But there was an awesome 4-point killed up there, mid 190s, just a beautiful buck. And I'd have been just tickled with a buck like that. So look at them all, start making plans. And one Sunday at church, like first or second Sunday in August at church, after I'd pull all my cameras, a gentleman comes and says, hey, I heard you got a deer tag out there. He's like, I've got an elk tag. He's like, do you have any pictures of this elk? And I said, yes, I do. And I'm happy to share whatever you want. I have no problem sharing. Like I'm not hunting elk. I don't have points for elk, and I may never even get a hunt elk out there just based on the points unless I get really lucky. So
sure.
I was happy to share. He showed me a picture he took out of his truck window of this with his phone of this buck, and it had like the front end. You can see the front end on that deer.
Cheaters coming off the G4, and you
phenomenal.
Can tell
I couldn't really. His picture wasn't clear, and I couldn't see the back end. He's like, yeah, I think it's like an 8x9 or something. I was like,
plus
okay,
or minus 5, plus or minus 5
Sure.
on each side.
He's like, I think it'll go. I think it's a 200-inch deer. I was like, sweet, I'll go check that thing out. And here's all the elk pictures I have, and I sent him elk pictures from wherever. It didn't really bother me. So 2 days later, me and my youngest son, my 2-year-old, we roll out there and go through the early afternoon, nothing, pretty quiet. And then right about dusk, we came back down there after looking at some other bucks, and holy crap, there's probably 15, 20 deer there, another good 4-point, and this buck is just he's standing there.
And by now, you're only like a week or so, maybe from opening day. How close were you?
So that was the 8th. That was the 8th of August. So it was the 22nd. So about 2 weeks.
Wow.
Ish.
Game on.
Yeah. And I sent pictures to Adam.
Yeah, which you didn't need to do, but yeah, he confirmed what you had thought, and that was that this is a number 1 buck.
Probably gonna hunt this one.
Right. Yeah, the guy loves mule deer, and you probably already know that, because every time I'd send him a picture of a deer, I'd be like, hey, Adam, check this one out. He's like, oh yeah.
I knew of that one, but I wasn't going to tell you about that one.
Here?
I watched the fawn give birth to that buck.
Right.
I got his 2-point sheds.
Picture from it last year. He's like, oh, is it still over here? I'm just like, is there a deer on that mountain that hasn't passed through the lens of Adam Black?
Yeah.
He's like, probably not. So I send him this buck, and he's just like, we've been looking for that thing. Good find.
That's old Freddie Lump Lump.
Yep. I don't even know if he saw it on the hoof before I killed it. I know they tried to get pictures of it. So it's in a super visible place. It couldn't have been there all summer long.
It couldn't have, because nobody's taking pictures out their window except for this guy, right? Like it. I mean, everybody's talking about him. He's a rumor. Nobody can really be on him. Nobody is on him. You hunt him by yourself the day you kill him. I mean, it's kind of crazy,
Sometimes it feels like fate.
Yeah, it's what you get for going to church and
that's
swapping
right.
notes.
That's right.
There you go.
I guess. I know.
I'd call it a blessing. Let's just
hesitated
say
about
it what it is.
Putting that in the article.
Oh, let's just say it the way it is.
Heck
like
no.
So here's this buck, and I see him the 8th of August. Got rumors that Tyler had pictures of him. May have got a picture of it, a really terrible picture, but nonetheless, it was like, yeah, that's him, and he's huge. I still don't know what he is exactly, because I haven't bothered to even mull over the pictures. He's big enough. He's huge, right?
Well, how do you explain it? He's got 3 or 4 cheaters on each G2, G3, G4.
Big inlines, mass,
big
tall,
frame,
boxy.
He's got eye guards,
boxy.
mass. I don't know what I mean.
Body's big, hams.
I think we explained him.
But you look at him, and I'm like, Adam, why does his ears look so small? Well, I figured it out, because his horns are so big.
Not because his ears are small.
No, they're not small at all.
Right.
So
now you got to somehow get through the next 2 weeks to opening day.
So
somehow keep him to yourself. You got to kind of keep your composure, shoot your bow like crazy.
And the downside is, I mean, the locals talk. And there's local legends, right?
There are.
I mean, that's what you were initially. That's what you're talking about. Is they're visible. It's a huntable unit.
They're visible.
There are lots of roads. People know about everything. It feels like
you've got Adam and this elk hunter that now you've got.
It's a little anticlimactic, because it's like, all right, I'm going to go put in the time and grind this out and stalk on some deer, and it's not like that out there.
Right.
I mean, you can do that, but most of them are. Yeah, shot close to roads.
Yeah. Right. The biggest thing
is make pancakes in camp. I've heard of people shoot them out of camp like that.
I don't want to ruin the end, but you should shut your door next time.
For real.
All right, keep going.
All right. So I make a couple more trips out there before opener, nothing, heard rumors that Kyler had pictures, got one. I'm pulling out of town Wednesday before the Saturday opener. I'm like, I can't take this crap anymore. I worked a couple hours at work and I bounced.
Yeah.
It was time to get on the mountain, shoot my bow, just kind of like, I'm on edge, just nervous. Who's going to be there? Who knows about this deer? It's been a few weeks now since words got out. And we found him late Wednesday evening. And I was like, he's still here. And it was just drove by. I saw him and I was like, sweet, he's still here. And we left.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to pattern this deer. I didn't see him enough. I didn't know enough about him. I knew the area, but I didn't know what deer did in that area very well. I didn't have much time to watch them. So Saturday morning comes around. Well, Friday morning, we go down there just to look again and just make a pass through. And I run into how much do you guys edit on these?
None.
Yeah, not much.
Don't swear. You just got out of church.
So I rolled down through there.
And there's the devil, and I made a deal with the devil right there in the mountain.
No, keep going. Keep going. Sorry.
Friday morning.
We're just, it's exciting. Keep going.
And on the way out of there, I run into one of the other outfitters driving down through there. And I'm just like,
Okay.
oh,
It's not good.
you know what?
Yeah. You're going to want lots of outfitter logos all over your photos. You can already see it.
He rolls down there, and we just kind of waved, and I was like, that sick feeling in your stomach. You're like, crap. But I don't know what I was expecting. To have the place to myself, like,
Doesn't happen there.
how would that ever happen?
Right.
So I'm worried, sick. So Saturday morning, we're up early. We just want to time it right just to hit there when we can shoot, because there's really no reason to be there any earlier, because you bump them out of there, you're done. So we're trying to time it. We get down there, and there is not a soul. There's no deer. There's no cows, moo cows. There'd been some elk in there. Hadn't seen there. It was just silent. There was nothing.
No side-by-sides, no four-wheelers, no trucks,
No side-by-sides,
tents,
nothing
no
for the
camp
most part.
trailers. That place is loaded with all of those things, 90% of the
I did forget to
unit
mention that Wednesday night, a camp rolled into the middle of that place.
Okay.
I knew it was possible. It's public land. It's how it is. Hoped it didn't happen, but it happened. And I was like, oh crap, maybe this is going to really bugger everything up, or bugger his pattern, or whatever he does. I don't know what it is, but there's a camp there now. Turns out, I think they were hunting archery, the big bull. Someone had a big bull tag, but anyways, so there's a camp in there now. What are you going to do? You just keep hunting it. So Saturday, man, I don't even know if I saw a buck.
Jeez.
Kind of worked the area, glassed a little, just, and nothing. And so that night I was like, well, maybe I'll go back into church and I'll come out after church, no big deal.
It worked
no big
before.
deal.
Last time you
Like
went to
Mrs.
church, you learned about this buck.
Qualify for your few blessings and get back
Probably
out.
the biggest buck I've ever seen, and I'm going to walk away from him. I'm going to go to town, go to church.
Yeah.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which, I'll be honest, I don't hunt much on Sunday.
Yeah.
But anyways, so it wasn't abnormal for me to do that. So some people, I'm sure they think I was pretty crazy for turning my back on that beast. And nonetheless, I went to church. I got back out there Sunday afternoon, and I grabbed my stuff and I headed for the highest place I could find that I could see something and see if I could figure out what this deer was doing, where he was living, just get a glimpse of him to make a plan for Monday morning to chase him. Nothing. Saw a few deer, no bucks really to speak of. And so back to camp at dark, and I've got my brother's there, my dad's there, and brother-in-law. And so we just make a plan, and we split up. Brother-in-law and my dad went over on one road just to glass some country just to see if he'd moved over there. My brother and I jumped in my Tacoma and we went for a drive where I'd seen him every single time. So we head down in and just nothing. There were a few does down in there in the meadow and that's about it. So we go down to the end and turn around and we're coming back out. I mean, we're 200 yards past the camp that's in there. And then there's another camp probably 200 or 300 yards in front of us. And this buck is coming right in between them. And I look to my right and I'm like, there he is. There's no like looking through your binoculars to identify him. He's pretty unique. And I'm like, there he is. And my window's down and I hit him with my rangefinder on my Vortex Furies. And he's 71 yards.
Out the truck window.
Out the truck window.
Keep in mind, and this is area, I mean, if you've been there, it's like in places, thick oak, think Ponderosa is not like a lot of great glassing places. And it's like
no, that's
put
how
around on two tracks and all that.
That's how everybody does it. It's
what
normal.
You got to do.
That's right.
And if you walk around out there, usually
you're going to
blowing everything out. So anyway,
they're used to vehicles all summer long.
So I range him. I go into just auto mode. You know, I wasn't expecting to see him because we'd already drove down through there, but there he is. And let's make something happen. And I'm fumbling to grab my stuff, and I bail out of the truck, kind of into some brush right next to the road. And then my brother drives off, and there's a little buck with him, or a smaller 4-point. It wasn't that small, but nothing I was interested in after seeing the other buck. And he's just past that buck, maybe 30 or 40 yards, the big one I was looking at or wanting to kill. And that little one's just kind of got me pegged there, and I'm just waiting. And the big buck starts to move where I can see him. I reach for my binos. Man, I left them in the truck.
Jeez.
In my haste to bail out and get up, make sure I had everything. I left my binos in the truck. And here I am, like, which has my rangefinder, and I'm kneeling there, and I'm looking, and he's about to clear this Ponderosa bough that's hanging low, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, he's kind of close to where he was, but he's moved enough that a bad shot could, really mess things up. You make a bad shot and they disappear, and maybe you don't ever turn them up again. And so here I am, and he never gave me the opportunity to make a bad decision, because the little buck decided he was done with me, and he bounded, and the big buck kind of followed. And they weren't super scared, but nervous, and they kind of just trotted off. It wasn't bounding, but like your typical mule deer bound, but they trotted off, and I was like, there goes my buck. And probably my only chance of, getting a shot at him, or maybe even getting that close to him. So I'm just second guessing everything, like kind of cussing myself. We drive up the road back up to camp, and my brother's going to go up on the hill and glass. And I was trying to decide what I should do or where I should go to kind of look, a little heartbroken. It's kind of that mental game of, just hanging in there and grinding through it. But we're only on day 3, and this is only day 2, the morning of day 2 of hunting for me, really. So we get back up there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to drive back down through there. I don't know why.
Well, it worked.
Oh,
it worked
but
once.
What else
That's how you hunt it.
What else am I going to do?
That's right.
So I drive past the place where I just saw him, and it was probably 30 or 40 minutes prior, kind of winding down the road, and I hit the clearing, and a few hundred yards ahead, there's a deer up there moving across the road, the opposite direction of where I saw the deer coming from, kind of going. So I was like, well, who knows? Let's go take a look at this thing. I threw my binos up. I knew it was a buck. So I hustled down there. I got to about where that deer crossed the road, and I turned to my right, and I looked, and my buck is standing there looking at me, and I could have just fallen over if you pushed me over with a feather. Just there he is. There is no way this buck just made this 500-yard giant circle in the last 30 or 40 minutes, and he's standing next to the road
Jeez.
that I'm on 30 or 40 minutes later.
Crazy.
And all I knew was he's not going to get away again.
Your rangefinders or your binos are on your chest.
My binos are in my pack, on my chest.
Drives
I
in,
grabbed
or
my
the
bow.
truck's in park.
Yeah, I did get it in park before I left the seat.
Yep, Fox News on satellite radio.
Yeah, no, probably, yeah.
The highway.
I don't. Yeah, my truck's too old to have XM in it, but I don't even remember what I was with. Probably the local country station.
Right.
7:90 a.m. San Juan.
Right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
7:90 a.m.
Am I right?
Bronson listens to the AM channels. I don't know.
I just grew up over there, so I remember.
All right.
I don't know if it's even still on the air. But anyway, keep going.
So I'm knocking an arrow as I'm stepping out of my truck, and I'm walking around the back end of the truck. It's just running in the middle of the road, door open. And I come around the back, and I could see he's far enough, like, this is too far. I got to get a little bit closer. And I kind of just went at him, and he was feeding slow, away from me, not looking, not paying much attention. You know, those deer, they do get used to vehicles driving by. They do get used to passerbys taking pictures of them. But I don't know how many this one had seen, but I went at him. And that's usually not how I am. I'm a little more hesitant and not so forward in making that kind of an aggressive move. And I just went at him, and I probably got into the trees 40 yards, and he turned broadside and looked at me. And I thought, it's now or never.
We're doing this.
Grabbed my binos. They're in my pack this time. I have my bow in my left hand because I'm right-handed. Binos in my right, and that reticle will not stand still, will not sit still on that deer. I cannot get a range. And I stuck my bow underneath my binos and ranged that beast. He was 83 yards.
Jeez.
And I thought, I did feel comfortable shooting that far. Much further, I don't know. But that one was one yardage that I'd practiced quite a bit. But I knew I didn't have time to dial. This guy's got me pegged. I'd already moved. I'd ranged him. I was shooting. And I had my 70-yard pin was my furthest pin with my set pins without dialing. And I just
aimed high.
I knew I was going to set it on the top of his shoulders.
Wow.
And those things just, I was in automatic mode. My arrow's already knocked. I hooked on with my release, and I drew back. And as soon as the pin hit the mark, man, there was no clean release. I'm sure I punched that thing.
Nobody blames you.
And kind of my normal, torque, I can shoot a little bit left. So he's facing to the right. And I put it where I thought would just smoke him. And I hit the button on my release, and it sounded great. And I didn't see a thing. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know what happened there. I didn't see it hit. All I did was hear it. And so maybe my follow through was good. Maybe he was quartering to me a little more than I had thought. And I was positive I hit him. Just the sound, the way he took off running. But we've all missed deer, and they've bounded away. And so he ran over by the other deer, and I put my binos up, trying to see. I'm like, I know I hit this guy, and I can't see anything on his offside. I'm just like, oh crap! Like I got to get another one. I got to get an arrow in him or get another one in him, and he's at 120 yards at this point. And I'm like, I can't shoot that far. So I'm trying to ease up there, but his buddy there, he didn't like me very much. He just was not having it. But I'm looking at my buck, and kind of humped up, and he's looking sick to me. I'm like, maybe I did hit him, like, but where's my arrow? And I can't see a hole in this thing. And that other buck's just kind of got me pegged because I don't want to blow him out of there.
Yeah.
And my buck just kind of walks slowly away until he kind of disappears into the brush and in the trees. And I'm just like, what happened?
Wow.
Did I miss? Did I hit him? I swear I hit him, but I can't see anything, so I couldn't be really sure. So kind of just glassing where he went. There was one point I kind of got a glimpse of antlers moving, and so I made a mark in the terrain, in the bushes or a tree up there, and that's kind of where I just headed for. After that other little buck had kind of followed up there in his direction, and I'm kind of just like, well, I feel like I just need to crawl up there and see if I can get another shot, because if I shot him back or shot him in the guts, I need to get another one in him. But on the other hand, you blow him out of there and you may never find him again.
Yeah, it's a
there's
fine balance.
There's no blood.
He was facing right. You torque it, and your tendency is to drift left.
I torqued left. Yep.
But you're over his shoulders with the 70 at 83, and you don't see the arrow. But anyway, I can tell there's probably some stress.
You know that
on.
feeling.
Yep. So
I'm kind of crawling up there, and I hear a buck, like a deer snort, like they're, hey everybody, there's danger here. Let's get out of here. And I'm like, crap, here they go. But nothing ran off, and that deer snorted several more times, and I'm like, what on earth is happening? What is going on up there? And then the thought came that maybe I did get that deer, and he's laying there not wanting to go anywhere, and that little buck's trying to get him to go, or he's watching him die or whatever. And so I just keep crawling, and I'm heading that direction. It's at least 100 yards, maybe more, that I crawled, and we had gotten enough rain that the needles and kind of the duff and everything it was quiet.
Yeah.
And I was silent. Kind of crawled past where the trail that he had ran on after I shot the first time. Man, I couldn't find a thing, but I just kept going. About the time I got to the tree, there was a tree with a bend in it that I'd made my landmark, and I got there, and I'm just scanning, waiting to see these antlers and these eyes staring at me, wondering what on earth I'm doing there. And I'm panning to the right, and I see horns on their side in the grass.
Jeez, that's perfect.
And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
I did it.
There is no way. And so I'm still not so sure, because if I'd have made a longer heart shot, I would have known right off the bat this thing would have made kind of the death run, and I would have known for sure. And so I still snuck up on him, ready to shoot if I needed to, but I got there, and he's dead, and he'd been dead for a little bit. Kind of saw my shot, my exit wound, because he was laying on his right side, come right out in front of that rear hind quarter. And I'm like, how did I shoot that far back? But I just missed the lungs, and I hit the liver.
Oh, that'll kill him every time.
All the blood was inside.
Liver shots are hard on things.
My height was perfect. I was just left.
Wow.
And he was quartered quite a bit.
Okay.
And so
That helped a little bit. Yeah.
And so
Makes sense.
when I went and found my arrow, man, you would have just looked and said, oh, you've got shot it. There wasn't much for blood on there, just all the other nasty stuff from the paunch.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me.
Did it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
There lies the beast.
The church buck.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So let's see. The door in the truck was still open. The radio was going. The truck was running.
The deer is dead.
Good thing you had a full
deer's
tank of
dead.
gas.
Right. It was. I don't remember how long I was out of the truck before I got back to it, but man, what a cool experience. What a cool feeling. Just
Wow. He's
a
awesome.
dream buck, just kind of try to soak it all in, because life moves fast.
Yeah, life moves too fast. We've talked about it a lot, and when something like this happens, you just take time and just really soak it in, and you fight your whole life to make that happen again, and so anyway, you just cherish those moments when they're there. Pretty awesome. So did you strip him, or is you still got him in velvet? And
He's the velvet's perfect. There's not even a nick in it. And I don't know if that's because of the way he died, if he just went over and laid down and didn't do the death run kind of thrash and fall, and that velvet's staying on.
And did you have him scored, or what did he end up going?
I did. So we initially greened him high 230s. Had a guy score him, come back gross at 228, right on the dot. So
Is that 228 net?
Gross. That would have
Gross.
been gross.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
there's obviously there's a lot of interesting horn and growth on him.
Palmations and,
The palmation, and so we'll see. I haven't sent anything in, but nonetheless, he's a beast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's
Well,
unbelievable.
I mean, score is super cool.
It already
And-
validates
and-
what you
and
already know about him, though.
It does
he's
mean
a giant.
something, but my goodness,
I think part of it
the
is just
biggest bucks I've seen.
Yeah, I think part of it is just so people, when you say the number, people have it in their mind like, how big is this deer? Is he 180-inch gross, and so he's got lots of little
Right.
points in a small frame. When you say he's 228, and we're kind of explaining him, Adam and I are teasing a little bit and explaining him from the photos, you get a real feel, even though you haven't seen him. Maybe you're just listening to the
Right.
podcast about him. You have a feel of how big this
Right.
thing is, So not necessarily the book, just it's nice to be able to reference that in talking,
Right. Right. And
So-
he's not super wide outside. Some of those pics make him look like phenomenal. Like he's under 29 outside.
Josh takes a lot of those kind of photos. Huh, Josh?
Fish Eye Friday.
Yeah.
Hell, he
But
photographs
he's-
well, whatever he is for width. He photographs it
I mean,
incredibly well.
he looked phenomenal.
Boxy.
And Adam came out and took pictures for me, and he did a phenomenal job. He was,
Yeah, but you see the live pictures, you can tell how big he is. I mean,
He's big.
yeah, those live pictures
for
are
sure.
awesome.
I mean, you look at his ears and his face, and those horns just kind of drowned his
Yeah,
head.
they do.
Yeah, you find one like that, you push your chips to the middle of the table, go to church,
Yep.
and go to work.
Go up.
And that's the one you're after. That's right.
It's all in,
Yep.
and sometimes it really works out. And usually the more effort you put in and time, like luck plays a big role in it, but luck can play a really big role if, you've got the time and the
Yep.
effort.
Well,
So-
we appreciate you sharing not only the story with us today on the podcast, but the story with us in our magazine, the February 2023
Oh,
issue
you're
of the
welcome.
magazine. We appreciate you taking the time to put that together, showcase a little bit about the buck and your success, and can tell how much it meant to you. It's
Yeah.
obvious. It should mean something to you. It's a heck of a deer, and like we talked about a little bit earlier ago, it wasn't a phenomenal antler growth year in the extreme southern end of the state. It wasn't. So, but even if it had been, it's a phenomenal deer in a off the charts antler growth year too. So congratulations and thanks for spending the time.
And
Thanks, Adam.
his sheds were found, I think, and
Yeah.
basically he did. It does appear that he
He'll
grew
put
a
on
little
some-
bit.
Put on growth, yeah. He didn't regress necessarily.
Sometimes
Yeah.
we maybe overanalyze the water and whatnot at times,
I did see some pictures of him on the hoof from the year prior,
Yeah.
in the velvet, and yeah, man, he stacked it on.
Yeah,
It was his year.
It
yeah.
was his year. There you go.
Well,
As being on the cover of Epic Outdoors, we sure appreciate you sharing that with us and all of our subscribers at Epic. And just wondering, I was kind of wondering, have you already decided what you're going to do with the $1,500 in credit toward the optics?
I haven't.
Optics
I've been thinking a little bit, but
well, good. Well, When you're ready,
We'll
just
think it
let us
over a
know.
little more.
We could
Think it over.
we could send out a bunch of trail cameras.
Or
You used them,
or
obviously.
another pair of Furies, so you leave one in the truck and one on your chest.
There you go.
One at every turn.
One on your belt. We can even do a regular rangefinder one for your belt loop. Who knows? So anyway, you get to choose, and it could be trail cameras too. I'm being serious about that. So I know.
Well, I appreciate it.
Big country down there. All right.
It is.
Well,
Thank you,
we'll let
gentlemen.
you go. Thanks for taking a few minutes. Okay.
Thanks, Tyler.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
You betcha.
Congratulations again. Good luck this
Have
year
a
in the
good day.
draws. Drawing an elk tag with 0 points. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Keep going
Have
to
a good one.
church. All right.
Will do.
All
Will
right.
do.
You betcha. All right.
Bye.
That's awesome.
I'm going to go to church.
That's the
Even more.
second. That's the second buck in our magazine that talks about a guy that goes to church.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that
Was the other-
Nevada or the other Utah buck, that Chandler Whipple.
Oh, I want to call him, but I want to save him for another podcast. He's I do
You think
though.
that's a
I
church
know. Well, I actually got him lined up. Let's call him real quick. Let's get his story too. I'm freaking liking this. People want stories,
Word.
and I agree. Let's just do one more. One more.
Okay.
Are you guys up for it?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
I've
this
been.
one? All right. Well, whatever. Go.
Let's do him too.
Well-
So anyway, let's do this one, and
got-
then
Well, we got 2 hours. Are we having dinner here tonight or what?
no,
Okay.
no, I'll be in trouble if
You
we do
guys
that.
sign my paycheck. I'm just here.
Yeah.
Josh, the one thing. All right, just a real quick interjection. So a
As you
guy
get
comes
an
up at the
energy,
a guy.
Tyler.
Okay, yeah. So I down this thing, and so a guy comes up at the expo, and I think it's Mike Spritzer. But anyway,
Which is funny. He's talking about a drink and his last name's Spritzer.
I know. Well, I just anyway, he was in the booth. and
Maybe
I,
it was Mike with the spritzer.
I don't
Or
know. I
about
wrote
the
it down
spritzer.
real quick, but anyway, this is like a little True Lime packet, you know. And as a kid, you're always told not to take candy from strangers, so I didn't know how I felt about it. But he says, add this to your White Monster, and it's crystallized lime. 1 packet equals taste of 1 wedge. Okay, so I'm assuming a wedge of lime or whatever. Ingredients: crystallized lime, citric acid, lime oil, lime juice, and non-GMO, no
lime.
artificial preserved, gluten-free. I mean, you know, can't hive out or
No.
anything. Whatever gluten does to people. And gluten's a thing
No
nowadays.
caffeine, though.
What did people
either,
do
right?
that had an aversion to gluten back when we were
Just
young?
use lots of wet wipes. I
Did they
guess.
just die? Anyway,
You put that
I don't know
in
if you
and
can see
what?
this, whoever, but anyway, yeah, dude, I put it in. I can't get enough of it.
It's mainly flavor, right? There's no, like, it's not like a Goodies headache powder.
It feels like a salty lime flavor.
yeah.
It's amazing. But Josh did it.
It's
Okay?
not like what a margarita
Yeah.
supposed
And
to
Josh,
taste like.
Josh went and tossed the whole monster.
Sorry. Yeah.
But
Mike
like it.
spritzer.
Well, I
Mike-
was told this is like putting a salad in your White Monster, and it made me feel a little bit better about drinking it.
That's why I sometimes supplement with the what?
The V8.
For the
Zip
V8.
Fizz? The Zip
Oh,
Fizz?
Yeah, that too.
Oh.
But plant-based.
I'm
energy
pretty
beverage.
happy with this stuff.
Okay.
I want to know where to get more. I'm going to Google it and get some Amazon boxes coming that match the flats that come from Amazon with the White Monster as well. Have them on the same delivery schedule.
If you came to the Epic Outdoors booth at the expo, hopefully you were able to partake on maybe multiple occasions
Monsters,
of Monster.
left and right. We
Free.
had stacks of them.
There was so many of them at one point they were even all over the floor.
But
with
what
the
was
ice.
funny is I'd go talk to somebody and they'd be like, "Where's your monster? It's nice to visit, but where's your monster?" And they were late. A couple of days they were a little bit late. Like, and we're talking
4 o'clock in the afternoon. They were sometimes gone by 4 o'clock.
Yeah, and people that was frustrating to a lot of people.
Sorry. So the next day we brought twice as many.
Yeah,
But
and they
many
were
of you couldn't go back
pretty
to back
awesome.
days. But anyway.
pretty fun. Anyway, do you want to add anything, Josh? Did it do anything bad to you?
No, just didn't.
You just didn't like it?
Didn't
Didn't do it
taste
for
like
you?
a white monster anymore.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why I drink it. 'Cause
All right.
It tastes like a white monster.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Let's talk to Dusty. Here's another Utah deer, hardhorn freaking giant with a archery right toward the end of our archery. They'll strip the velvet right toward the end of our archery. Kind of one of them old giant body, giant headed, sick pigs. Anyway, pretty awesome story. I don't want to take too much time, and Dusty's, he'll make it short. He's not a man of too many words. I'm gonna probably we'll have to pull it out of him a little bit. He's very humble and quiet, but let's give him a holler.
Hello.
What are you doing?
Oh, just got home from work and trying to fix up a truck that's broke down.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Tell us about them. Yeah, come on. Hey, tell us about them awesome Toyotas.
Yeah, I don't know about them really.
Ball joints.
No, you've had ball joint problems, but you fix them usually before they break off, right?
Well, I try to, but man, it seems like this one I can't keep on four wheels.
Well, Dusty, that sounds like when you were in high school and we were running together way back.
Yeah, I remember
you jumped
Toyota that I used to have, a Toyota Tacoma. And,
it was green.
And I ran it, yeah, green, a little green one. I ran it rag, and I went to trade it in, and the dealer's like, man, I think this truck has more airtime on it than it does dirt time.
And he was right.
Yeah.
Dusty was hard on stuff. Dusty was hard. You guys think I'm hard on stuff? Nothing.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But.
Yeah.
Dusty jumped trucks on purpose. Dusty, tell me. You jumped trucks on purpose.
We all done dumb things when I was young, didn't we?
If you can't tell, you're on the Epic Outdoors podcast, by the way.
Oh, wow. I guess the value of this truck just went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you going to sell it, Dusty?
Dude, I'm getting rid of it.
His intent was to
can't keep it going.
Yeah, fix that thing, and on Tuesday or next Monday it's for sale. But
I
I
thought
have to
it
now
was-
leave the
it
state to sell it.
Yeah, watch
I
this.
thought this was a clean one owner 4Runner, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a clean one owner, but dude, I was broke down so much this year. I mean, I had the right front wheel fell off of it, the ball joint went out, and
That's
I
normal.
had a client coming in like that night, so I had to go get my other truck, and anyways, got it replaced like a week later, and it wasn't another week that it happened again. Threw another ball joint, and
It's normal. I see more photo. Have you ever seen a Ford, Dodge, or any other Chevy with
Sheared off.
Yeah, with the tire flat, the truck sitting there. Seriously,
No.
tire just tilted over on its side from ball joint.
probably
issues.
haven't seen a lot of Dodgers or anything like that on dirt roads either.
Oh,
Good comeback, Dusty. Good
shots
comeback.
fired! Shots fired! Hey, you've been in mine. It's
Right,
It's
yeah.
been run hard. All right.
Yep, for sure.
So how did you blow the engine?
out bucking snow here
A
a
lot of
couple
snow.
weeks ago.
Well, it's either that or walk 25 miles home, right?
Exactly.
You're gonna keep it hammered down. Give it all it got.
That was it. I mean, there was no phone service or anything, and I was out of antifreeze, so I was stuffing snow down in the radiator to get enough water to get back to the road, and I ran it a little too hot, I think.
Okay, so there you go. Now I'm fine. So, okay, that explains a lot. I thought the engine gave out through a rod, and it had nothing to do with you other than horsing it. But really, you ran it out of water. You ran it out of antifreeze.
Yeah, I ran it out of antifreeze, and then
Did it have a
dumped
hole
some
in the
water.
antifreeze, or
No,
or in the
I dumped a bunch
in
of
the radiator?
I dumped a bunch of bottled water in there and got back to the oil road, and it started puttering out on me, and I had to call the old man to come and hook a chain on me and pull me home. And now I'm just trying to pressure test the radiator and stuff. I think I got like a blown cylinder head or something like that. So
Jeez. Okay. Well, you were asking. Let's see. Well, are you just going to jump into a ZR2, or what are you going to do?
that's a little above my pay grade.
Oh, come on.
All I've heard is out these Toyotas have high resale value.
They do. That's the one vehicle I've never lost money on is any Toyota you ever buy.
Well,
Dusty will make money on this truck. You wait.
Yeah, I'll probably make money and it won't even run.
Oh, all right. Well, let's see. You've killed a number of big deer in your life. Nevada, Utah, namely. I mean, a few other places. Of course, you've hunted them really hard. Killed this old archaic freaking, donkey-headed giant, and just kind of wanted to get the story on him.
Right. Yeah. No, we, as you guys all know, we had a lot of rain and moisture this early spring and in the summer and stuff, and just had some hunts planned. So I didn't think I was going to have much time to hunt, but we could run trail cameras until that July 31st or whatever. And I got some pictures of the buck and never had him before. I've had cameras on these springs before and never had the buck. So we kind of just moved in there, and I thought, man, he's probably just passing through or something. Won't see him again. And Obviously pulled down the trail cameras and just kind of started hunting elk with clients, and had a break in between hunts and went back to the water holes where it was kind of not a natural water hole, but like a rain filled, just kind of a little mud puddle, pretty much a big mud puddle.
Jeez.
And seen the deer tracks coming in there, and I'd brush them out and come back and check them a little later, and sure enough the tracks were there and it was consistent. So
It's interesting that you did that, knowing we can't run cameras anymore, but you were brushing tracks out daily to get a feel for when he was, and even a couple times in the day to make sure he was coming in the daylight hours. I thought that was interesting.
There was a couple times like I would go up in the glass in an area about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to brush them out, and then I'll stop back by on the way back out of here about dark and see what's up. And sure enough, there'd be tracks there, and I'm like, dude, he had to hit like during the daytime or right before dark, because I was only 15 minutes after dark. And so I'd done that for like two days, and it was consistent coming in there every day. And I'm like, man, it's got to be him. It's a big track. So I just thought, I'm going to throw a blind up here. Usually most guys will throw a blind up in advance and have them get used to it and all this crap. And threw a blind up, and and like this scene in the story, sat in there the first night, not expecting him to come in, and pretty hot and drowsy, and he come in, I wasn't ready, and he
Surprised
he heard me or
you.
something.
Yeah.
He just heard me or seen me or got a glimpse of me and got out of there. And usually big deer like that don't give you much of a second chance to get him, but I got back in there, what was it, 2 days later or the next night, and like within like 3 minutes of when he come in the day before, he come right up over there and come over top of the little berm into the water hole, and he was there, and I was ready for him. So
It's so awesome.
yeah.
While you were not sitting in the blind, Josh is wondering if you had a blind buddy in there. Did you
Josh has
maybe
got
that
some
helped
questions.
Maybe that helped him get used to the presence of a being in the blind, and therefore when you got back in, it was like, nah, that thing doesn't hurt me.
Yeah, that's what,
I look like Dusty's blind buddy.
Or did you ever have the urge to urinate and couldn't and need some help there? That's kind of what we've moved on to.
Jeez. Good grief. So anyway, no blind buddy, I guess.
That's what you call an impromptu
Nope.
hunting tactic, Dusty. I mean, find some tracks during a hunt.
Yeah.
No trail camera, no proof positive of what is making them,
Just
other
a
than
big donkey track, yeah.
a mature blocky track, and obviously
Yeah.
knew a buck was in the area from a month prior or whatever.
Yeah.
right.
Pretty cool. I
So-
mean, it can happen.
So he
that
comes
fast.
in, take us through the shot, and then how
Yeah,
he died and where he died. And
I mean, I was pretty much ready as soon as he come over top of that bank, and I could see his horns before he even come over top of the bank. So I was kind of in position, ready to draw back and come over top of the bank and walked down to this puddle. But it was probably like 30 yards across this. It's like a dry pond that was filled with water. And so he comes down and he's facing me like head on. And I'm like, okay, when he puts his head down, I'm going to draw back. And then he's got to turn broadside to get out of here. And drew back. And I mean, as quick as I drew back, he threw his head up and his ears were perked up. And I mean, it's 30 yards. I'm like, I'm aiming right in the middle of his chest and just freaking thumping. So he raised his head, and I was already drawn back and thumped him right in the chest. And I mean, right then he come running like right towards me across the pond. I'm like, dude, he's going to come right in here with me. And I had like seconds. So anyways, he comes, and there's some tall sage and stuff around there. And he comes like literally probably, 15 yards outside my blind, and I can hear him like gargling, and I could see blood shooting out of his chest when he come across the pond at me. And I mean, it wasn't less than 5 minutes. I could hear him outside kicking. I mean, I could almost hear the dirt like hitting my blind. I mean, he was right there.
jeez.
So,
Crazy. Didn't have to track him.
no, didn't have to track him. Walked out of the blind and backed the truck up to the pond and was gone.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Pretty awesome.
but
Jeez.
usually don't happen that easy.
No. But this is toward the end of the season. He'd already stripped the velvet, and that's the one thing is, Utah archery season's good.
28 days.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a long old season.
Yeah.
And so, as the season goes along, was it toward the end? I can't remember exactly when it was.
Yeah, it was like September 8th or something like that. So
yeah. So then towards the end of the season, there's just not a lot of people out there either. People are wore out and spent a lot of time. And
they're at home fixing ball joints and stuff like that.
right.
Anyway.
Right. Exactly. So,
all right. Pretty awesome. Utah General, that's the thing. I mean, you can get points for the general as well as a limited entry hunt, as well as dedicated hunters. So you could get, 3 different points and different categories of tags, and this was just the regular old general.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. So
pretty awesome.
Never know. It's awesome, Dusty. Congrats as always.
Gotta be at the right place at the right time, I guess.
Spend a lot of time out there, and you got to sometimes take a weird, not even a gamble, just try a weird tactic every once in a while, and it pays off. We've all done them and they haven't paid off, but this one did. So
right, it seems like after you spend so many days out there, you're bound to be the right place at the right time one day out of the 150. So
don't say 150. Did your wife listen to this podcast?
No, I had to walk outside away from her for a minute ago.
Because your math came up to about 60 and her math said 140, and now you said 150.
Right.
Your wife and my wife talk, and that's not good either.
All she knows
that's not good.
She's closer to her math than your math. That's all I know now. Well, appreciate your time, and we're all licking our chops for better moisture this year even, so hopefully we can
looking good.
Get good tags. So anyway.
Sounds good, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dusty.
Okay, we'll see you.
All right, bye. Good stuff. Jeez. I think that's part of hunting is just being able to adapt, and a lot of guys just don't. I mean, it takes a little bit of everything. You never know. He's used to looking at tracks. He's used to glassing. He's got eyes like I've never seen. I mean, he'll. The one thing I've learned about Dusty when we hunt together is like he'll get up on a knob or whatever, and he looks with his bare eyes. So he'll look around with his bare eyes. I never was in the habit of just looking. I was always like, well, if you don't glass it up in binos, you're not going to see it. You know what I mean? So it'll take some time and just look, and he's just got great eyes. And anyway, he's a hard hunter, so it's pretty awesome. Pretty great story. So, all right, Bronson, what else we got?
Not much. I just did want to give a little shout-out to the folks of San Juan County, though, that KUTA 790's been off the air for 20 years, but I do remember that. So.
Did you Google that?
Well, no, I knew. I just making sure it wasn't 710. My mind was a little bit losing its sharpness as I approached the big.
Is that what you used to listen to in the Jeep?
Well, Rush Limbaugh was on 790. You know what I mean? That was KUTA.
The open air Jeep with 790 on.
You probably couldn't hear it rolling down the highway with the open air Jeep because those radios are sucked in those Jeeps. So you had to have the windows up and tight air and going about 30 or less before you could really hear it. But yeah. Voice of the Canyonlands. That San Juan deer story. So he talked about bears, lots of small, ugly bears. I was on there this year, and the funniest thing, I'm driving down the road, and this bear squirts out of the brush, and I mean, he's hauling. He hauls across the road, and there's this like 4-strand barbed wire fence. Hauling. Dude, he's going full bore. And I'm like, okay, this will be interesting. He hits that bottom strand and piles up. It stops him cold. He doesn't even get through it or nothing. It stops him cold, and then pretty soon he ambers and gets underneath of it, and off he goes. But I'm like, holy cow. He left some DNA on there.
You stop and belly laugh. You belly laugh. I mean, I felt back, so he's feeling it. But it wasn't, I mean, bears don't have good eyesight anyway. But I'm thinking, that fence is there, boss. You live here.
I wonder if it's because he was under the influence of theobromine.
What's that?
Which is actually toxic to bears.
Oh.
Is this chocolate?
Oh. Is this the chocolate? Yeah. Let's talk about that for a minute. Is that now illegal? You can't bait bears with chocolate.
Can't have any cocoa. Can't have any cocoa powder, any chocolate derivatives, or what is the chemical compound called, Josh?
Well, it's theobromine.
Whoa. That sounds like you don't want to eat that. But if it's chocolate, it's...
Only trace levels can be toxic to bears.
Really?
Wow.
That's what it says.
Wow. Huh.
Well, I know dogs aren't supposed to eat it, but I know what happens when dogs eat chocolate. It doesn't usually kill them, but you have a lot to clean up around your house. But
I just don't know. I mean,
What's
how
good-
many
in
how
20
many
years-
pounds of chocolate have bears eaten over the years?
No, sick.
I don't
And they've
know.
been
but
just
if
fine.
a bear can eat a duffel bag of cocaine and live to tell
There
about
we
it,
go.
I mean,
What's
what
this?
can chocolate?
Have you not seen the advertisement? of this
Cocaine
movie?
Bear.
I
Come on,
haven't-
it's a,
I
it's
haven't
a,
seen
it's
it.
A, it's a TV. It's a movie. It's in
There
theaters.
is a movie
I
Legit.
guess I need to go.
called Cocaine Bear. Me and
I
me
thought
and
it was
Devin were
bull
talking
crap,
about
too.
it this morning. We're like, did you see this
I-
stupid?
I
It's
watched
legit?
I watched the trailer on TV and I told my kids that who the freak would come up with a TV or a movie about a bear that eats cocaine, and it's a true story.
It is?
Yeah, Google
And
it.
did he live?
Oh, he killed. I think he killed somebody.
Well, probably so. Huh?
Oh,
Yeah,
tell us.
He killed people?
well, it was I think a drug.
He snorted it. Probably just breathing
No,
it.
he ate it.
I know,
duffel
but while
bag.
you're eating it, he's breathing.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
it doesn't
You
matter.
know
if
he's just ingesting that.
and
And
he
every
turned
orifice he's
into a
got.
raging
He did.
fire.
Like some drug runners or something
yeah,
were dumping.
with throwing duffel bags out. This is the South. I want to say, hey.
Black
I don't.
bear.
I'm not going to make a
Black bear.
retraction. I'm just telling you, I'm not making a retraction.
This
Okay?
is a true
I
story.
want to say Georgia, but if it didn't
Google
happen in
this.
Georgia and it was South
Could be New
Carolina,
Mexico.
Mississippi, I don't know. It was in the deep South.
Tennessee.
Okay, say it.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
it's a
I
big
don't
black
have-
bear.
Yeah.
They have big bears.
Okay.
Okay,
They
keep
were-
going.
Just let him read it.
Smoke some people.
Read it.
The cocaine bear, also known as Pablo Escobar,
Pablo. I mean, this is already going to
Read
get
it.
pulled for
Was
the
a
air.
hundred-
No, it's not. It's in the theaters right now.
was a 175-pound American black bear that overdosed on cocaine
It's
in
a small bear.
1985. The cocaine had been dropped by drug smugglers in the wilderness in Tennessee. The bear was found dead in northern Georgia and was stuffed and displayed in Kentucky. 2023 film Cocaine Bear.
I know it was. I knew Georgia was in
He
there.
hurt people or no? Not so sure.
It looks like
Very
he kills
aggressive.
people in. Yes, he
Of course
kills
they do
copious
that.
He
amounts
comes
of people in the
after
movie.
hikers and stuff in the movie. It's in the theaters.
Okay,
Go watch it. I'll bet
No,
it's up.
I'm-
I'll bet it's up for an Oscar.
I might actually. We'll see.
Anyway, so
It'll be out on free on VHS tape. at
Yeah,
some
it was a
point.
so
new-
I mean, here
law
we are
for Utah.
protecting them from a little cocoa powder spread over popcorn at a bear bait, and they can eat a duffel bag of cocaine and live to tell about it.
trace portion can hurt them bad, kill them, whatever.
What
Come
you find
on.
out, Logan?
It's not true.
Nothing else?
In real life, the cocaine bear didn't kill any people. It just was going crazy and
Okay.
died in Georgia.
You
But
cannot
in the movie,
hurt.
it's
He OD'd?
significantly different.
He did
yeah.
OD.
Yeah, it said he had 3 to 4 grams of cocaine in his bloodstream at the time of his death.
I wonder if that's a lot.
That's a
Would you
lot.
know?
I
Is
don't
that a lot?
That's a lot. I don't
It
know.
is?
Look at
Isn't like 450 grams a
They
pound? That's
snort
not
a
very
teeny
much.
little line of it. Get you there.
Logan, Google how many grams are in a pound.
454.
In the meantime,
How many? grams?
Bronson, let's do a Bronson bundle.
Ooh, yeah.
Or let's do a Devin deal. He's not here.
All right, let's do a
But we'll
Devin
make-
deal.
We'll write the check and he's got to cash it.
Well, everybody that wants it needs
How
to
many?
call Devin.
How many?
453.
That's
453.
one off.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, what do we got a fair amount of maybe after the expo that we could make a good deal with somebody on, Josh? I mean, we sold a lot of optics, but
we did.
what do we
It
got?
was
We got
pretty sick.
I know loading the trailer and unloading the trailer was two significant things. There was a
Two-
lot that
two-
went in and not as much came out.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
So what are we going
let's
to
do
do?
something with Vortex. I don't
Yeah,
know. we've got
you know
we've
what?
got a lot of
Since
everything.
how
but
you're going to be stuck to roads
what do
and
you-
glassing knobs. You're not going to be able to go do any walking. You
When?
might need your new
Oh,
spotting
as far
scope.
as during the shed season.
Yeah, maybe you're going to you need a new spotting scope, don't you? Because you got to be able to. I guess it's probably illegal to spot them.
Dude, you're encouraging people to go out and glass
I think
during
Jason.
the shed closure.
What did you read about glassing animals from a road? Was there anything in that news release that said that was
Just
wrong?
says you're not supposed to be
Out and
doing
about.
bad things.
Well,
We need to get the fuzz. the
okay.
fuzz in here.
Let's throw the 18 by. Let's do
Right
the
here.
18 by 56.
These
in there.
temporary restrictions also apply to looking for horns or antlers still attached to the skull play of a deceased animal. I mean, it's not saying yet. 53
like
feet
deadheads.
of walking.
Yeah.
On your health monitor on the phone constitutes a probable whatever. And,
One
and
destruction charge.
right. So anyway, having said that, let's do a Devin deal.
Yes.
Devin's deal.
We're gonna
I like
give
it.
away a
Devin really
tripod.
likes those Vortex tripods.
'Kay.
Those are kind of one of his favorites.
All right.
He also likes
We've got the
18.
small one, which is
Yeah,
what
the
Ridge,
Summit
and
Carbon
then-
2.
Yep. Then you
Summit
got a
Carbon
couple-
2.
Small Vortex tripod.
I think we've got a couple of the Ridge View, which is
Ridge View, the bigger
taller
size.
one.
Let's do a G18 camera. And what else?
Well, we can do.
Let's do
We've got two.
a Razor HD
Yeah,
85
85.
millimeter spotting scope, angled or straight. We've got some of both of those, as well as 18 by 56
binoculars.
Razor UHD binos. Either one of those. You buy one of those. You buy the spotting scope or the binos. You get the tripod and 2 cameras for free. I don't know. How many cameras you want to get,
Jeez, dude.
Well, I mean, hey, let's make this a deal. We're writing the check. Devin just has to cash it later.
Trail camera season's back in, so maybe, I don't know if it's lawful to use trail cameras for shed
No,
antlers
in
either,
Utah it is, but yeah, better be careful. Not spook something coming going from checking your camera.
A lot of people don't even shed hunt anyway, so who cares? Anybody can do the Devon deal. Let's do this 18 by 56 or the Razor HD 85, straight or angled.
You buy that from us at our
You
member
buy that.
pricing. We'll get throwing the tripod. And how many cameras, Carter? You get the final say on the cameras.
2 cameras while supplies last.
Okay.
Let's do 2 G18s or whatever, right?
QS18.
QS. Why do I call
QS18?
it G32?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do the QS18.
And this is literally what supplies. We're not talking dozens of these people.
Well,
No.
and then when we run out of those, if I mean, hey, why not
If it
throw
goes
in a
good,
20?
hey, we know
120.
we know where Logan works.
Camera.
We can get back in here and talk about it on another podcast about a new Devon deal.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Do it up. Let's finalize it. We'll have a small shipping charge, obviously, but let's
'cause
do it.
You could have 2 or 3 different boxes there, but hey, we just got cameras left over.
You get free tripod, free and 2 free cameras. Come on.
Yeah,
Do it.
that's
All right.
Good grief.
And we're talking, those are like $400 tripods. For
Dude.
free.
I don't know what
Cameras are bonuses.
I mean,
Anyway,
what
while
you
they
guys
last,
are doing, but hey, let's
you're
do
going to
it.
want to call.
Over $500 free, easily.
Our number's
Jeez.
435-263-0777. Ask for Devin.
That's for Devin. All right.
Not really.
Sounds it.
If he's on the line,
QS18s, the QS18s, and then once we're out of those, we'd give one, QS20s. Those come with batteries and a 16 gig card, and the tripods and while supplies last. Sound good? We good?
yeah,
Huh?
I think it sounds good.
Okay. All right. Done deal. Ask for Devin. Devin will have it, and we'll do it while supplies last. First come, first serve. Logan, when's this gonna go live?
This podcast?
Yeah.
This podcast will go live tonight, so.
Will it?
Ooh.
We're gonna
February
need
8th.
Jana to listen to this one, maybe.
Really?
Talked about the coyotes at the front.
This podcast will go live in 2 days.
Tomorrow, probably. Anyway, all right. Whenever it goes live, it's fine. Devin will be ready.
Smoke a pair a day.
Yeah. So I'm still disgusted. He didn't kill them both. But anyway, let's see. We'll have Jana go over it. We'll get it out there, and then Devin will have Devin's deal on his desk. Give us a holler at 435-263-0777. Of course, we're cranking out publications like it's our job. February issue came out. It covers New Mexico, Oregon, and Utah, as well as Nevada guide draw. If you need help, let us know. We're here to help you. Of course, you'd need to join, and you can visit with us all you'd like. We can help you square up for the year, figure out your plans, short-term, mid-term, long-term goals, and get things going. If you need outfitters of any sort with guaranteed tags, of course, we do that too. We apply guys left and right, guys that are not wanting to do it themselves. Of course, we have that service as well. So anything Western big game, that's what we do here at Epic Outdoors, and we're giving away optics deals like it's our job. Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, I guess while we're there, we did give away that little ATC spotting scope up at the expo.
we
That
said
was pretty cool.
Very
We said we were going to do that on the last podcast. The first
Yeah.
one that comes in buys one, and then
Yeah,
And we did it.
Gage from Ogden was the lucky man to get that. We were giving that away if you bought some optics as well as
that's the
signed up
hardest,
for our membership.
probably the hardest individual optics piece to get right now.
Yeah.
He lucked out on that one.
ATC or STC.
Yeah. It's extremely hard.
Yeah, he lucked out there. But now's a good time. I guess you've got till the end of the month to sign up. Our entry deadline for our Epic Hunt and Gear giveaway. Get signed up today. You can buy some extra tickets or sign up for a new membership. You'll get a free ticket. If you're smart, you'll refer a friend and
Get another one in.
get
For
another
every
I
friend.
like it. We're giving away dang near $200,000 in hunts and gear. We've got our optics and gear package is a rifle and a bow, as well as a stack of optics. It's unbelievable. I haven't seen anything like it. I had a guy, assume that it was a bow or a gun. No, it's both. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got stone sheep, goat, mountain goat, elk, mule deer, more elk.
More mule deer.
More mule deer. And so pretty awesome. Some of this stuff, we don't get excited unless it's stuff we do ourselves. And so we're not talking about just guys calling up and giving us a free hunt to advertise their hunts or something. We paid cash for these. And anyway, it's pretty impressive.
No coyote hunts in the rut in here, that's for sure.
No Chris Lacey hunts, although we should give away a hunt with Chris Lacey, maybe include an art drawing of yourself or
Artist
whoever,
rendition.
whatever you want. One of your trophies in the field. He's pretty impressive. Chris Lacey, Google him. Of course, you can always hit me up, and I can give you his contact info. Anybody out there that's wanting custom artwork, we appreciate him letting me. I haven't even asked him. I didn't even know we were going to talk about him. Bronson, you brought him up.
Well, you said we should find an artist or somebody that has pictures of us with tags flowing out of our pockets. We have so many tags.
But I mean,
well,
we know a
he's the
lot of
one
artists. Ransomone, Brent
Well,
Todd.
but
I mean, good grief.
Lacey can do that in 4 minutes
He
on a
can.
napkin.
He
On
can.
the back of an Applebee's
And
napkin.
he's a good friend of ours, and so I'm glad we did. It just didn't even know. Sometimes you just don't know where these podcasts are going.
We apologize for that, but we also hopefully you realize we're just dudes sitting around a campfire.
We're just dudes.
We don't have a campfire, but it's kind of what it's like.
I like the ambiance in here, though.
Yeah, it feels
Like we come in here, Logan's got it all set up, the lighting's. Anyway, it acts like somebody cares about this office.
I don't always like to till after the fact we find out that we're videoed the whole time. But
Well,
it's
Bronson's
too late.
over here making noises and gestures.
Well,
good grief! Remember, you're on video now.
well, I just if I want to rest my hand somewhere, I don't know.
Right, probably ought to be careful.
I don't want to look up and wave hi mom over there. I just like to. It used to be we have faces for radio, and I thought that's how we operated. But it's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
No,
So
I know.
Now we've
Kind of disgusted.
I got to comb my hair before I come in here.
You do all right.
I think you're all right. Wax your bald head there. I don't know. I don't know. I've
Buff it.
never been bald. I guess I was. We did shave our heads when we were in high school.
Swimmer.
All right, guys, that's about it. Let's call it a day. We're gonna try to do stories more often. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Passes the time in the winter too.
It does.
There's not as much to talk. No scouting going on. No hunting going on.
No shed hunting going
Yeah,
on.
so there's just a lot of applying, a lot of talking about applying, a lot of planning. And we'll talk about what happened in the last year or two. So
You know what I like about the
It's good.
shed season? Arizona guys just love it
why?
because we all go there.
Whoa, good point.
We all go to Arizona.
We only live 40, 50 miles from it.
Hey,
We're coming.
I'm seeing videos and photos of nice, beautiful weather down there, especially in the southern half of the state. Maybe it's time we go there. I don't know. All right, everybody, call up, talk to Devin. He's got the Devin's deal ready for you.
Here we come, Arizona.